Your company, obviously, you touched on it earlier, wind power too. What projects do you currently own around the country?
We have bid our first wind project that we own. We call them an own developed project during the during the fourth round of the REIPP program last year. And we have a pipeline of about 15 projects, which we will then select from on an annual basis to develop and build and put electricity onto the grid. These are dotted around the country. I think you asked about jobs earlier. Many of our wind project sites, our good sites, are in the Northern Cape as well. So we're seen as an industry that the Northern Cape is really a major player geographically in this renewables revolution, and it's really a beneficiary of the jobs and the investment that flows. And we're talking massive amounts of investment. For example, to date in the first 3 rounds of the program, which is about 16,000, which is about 1,600 megawatts of solar PV power, that's an investment of close to 20 billion rand. And predominantly that investment is flowing into the Northern Cape.
Okay. Greg, final question. I'd like to just get your view. Obviously, this is an industry that you know a lot about. What is your view on our current power situation? Eskom had a media briefing yesterday where they announced some stats and a load shedding schedule which very much might come into play tomorrow. What can you say about that?
Look, I think it's good to hear the honest views coming out of Eskom, the new CEO. The focus should not be on keeping the lights on. We need to deal with this. It is a major problem. It's you can debate whether it's a catastrophe or not. The issue is that we delayed decision making around investment in new generation of any kind. We have allowed our maintenance to not be done adequately, i.e. we haven't performed our maintenance as diligently as we should have done as a utility, being Eskom. And so if we bundle those things together, we are well behind the curve in terms of our needs. These things were this shortage of energy that we're experiencing, electrical energy that we're experiencing, was predicted by Eskom in the late 1990s, and the decision to invest in new generation capacities was blocked by government at the time in the late 1990s. So we land up with a situation where actually any generation we can get onto the grid is tremendously valuable. It's not commonly understood, but let's just say that a unit or a kilowatt hour of electricity costs 1 rand, just as a useful number. To not have that electricity costs our economy 70 rand. So we need to always bear that in mind. And it was really refreshing to hear in one of the recent announcements late last year that in fact Eskom is now relying on the approximately 800 megawatts of renewable energy that has already been built in the first year of the construction of these renewables projects, is already relying on renewables as part of the energy mix that they
on our reserve tank, as they put it, the analogy that was given out.
Well, I'd say it's much more important than a reserve. It's fundamental to our keeping the lights on,
no, for sure.
and keeping our economy going. Much more important than a reserve.
What do you think the likelihood of load shedding coming into play is?
It's guaranteed. We should be ready for a long time, many years, not some months. We're going to have years of electricity shortages in this country.